We get to Christmas cactus. This is what you call a winter blooming or Christmas cactus. And I'll just cover a little bit because it's right in the same subject there. Question number one that we get at the nursery all the time. I've got my Christmas cactus, but it's not blooming. What's the matter? How many of you had that question posed to you? The easy question to answer, say, oh yes, do you have it in the house? Uh-huh. And is it maybe in the kitchen or a room where you go in there every night, you know? Uh-huh. And do you turn on the lights? Uh-huh. Well, you've made your Christmas cactus think it's still summer because you've interrupted that day length that the winter cactus needs. So there's spring cactus and there is winter cactus. Easter or Christmas, whether you want to be politically correct or not. So and the correct growing instructions are the long ones. I took a look at the little square ones that you'll get on your handouts last night. And I looked at, I don't know who wrote it. I didn't write it, Mary didn't write it. So the long one is the correct one. In there it says both spring and winter cactus need 13 or more hours of dark. Wrong. Spring cactus comes in bloom when the days get longer and the temperature rises. Winter cactus comes in bloom when the days get shorter and the temperature falls. So I looked at it, I thought, I don't know who wrote that, but it's wrong. It also says winter cactus can bloom on their own 3 or 4 times a year. I don't think so. So I sat down last night before I went home and rewrote it. And then I was talking to Janet Kister, they grow a lot of these from Sunlit Nursery. And I was asking her, because I know if you let them get really, really wet, they will drop their buds. She said also if you let them get really, really dry when they're in bloom, they will drop their buds. So while they're blooming, water them just like you would water any other plant, nicely moist. When they're not blooming, in between, you can keep them on the dry side like a succulent. There are 2 actual different one's a Schlumbergia, this is Schlumbergia, the spring one is Salidopsis. But your client doesn't really care about that when they call. They just want to know why their Christmas cactus isn't blooming. Any questions on this one?
What is the best lighting condition for Christmas cactus outside during the rest of the year?
What is the best lighting for Christmas cactus or any other ones outside during the rest of the year? Light shade. They don't really like to be in full hot sun. They'll usually burn in that. So anything, and I call light shade morning sun up to about 10, morning sun after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not the sun that could possibly give you a tan if you sit there. That becomes sun. And of course, when they first you ask, is it morning sun or afternoon sun? Because lots of times we don't have morning sun here, you know. But it's the time when the sun comes up at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, blazing hot. That's the one that'll kill you. Yes.
Will they do okay in complete shade?
Will they do okay in complete shade? Sure, they will. They'll just be a little softer, and not as you'll have a softer, greener growth. And you probably might need to move it out into a little bit more light when you want to set buds. But it can do shade. Something else I was going to say. Somebody else have a question right now? Let me know. Yes.
Can you divide them? Mine is quite large like this, not high, but large.
Are we talking about the poinsettia?
So the,
This is,
or you just say cuttings?
what do you think, Mary? Could you divide
I
it?
wouldn't divide it. I think
I
the
think
cuttings.
you could. I think you could.
But
You
it'll
can-
break, I think, is the
Oh
problem.
yeah, you're not going to have a very good looking plant. I mean, you're going to break half the leaves. It's probably better for you to learn how to make cuttings, which are really easy. You just take a couple segments of the leaf, put it in some dry soil.
When you keep potting up the Christmas
Yes.
cactus, do you use like just a regular potting soil, or do you use more like for a cactus?
I would go as
succulent
close as you can to like a cactus mix. It's not crucial. These are grown in just a regular, good standard greenhouse mix, but if you're potting up something like that is semi-succulent, the lighter your soil that you can use, the better. Because you do want to have that perfect drainage. And then you don't want to pot it up too big. Usually we can go, the rule of thumb is 2 inches, from a 6 to an 8 to a 10, and I would follow that rule with anything like succulents or like the different cactuses. If you're doing something that grows rapidly, like something like a dragon wing begonia, you can go from an 8 to a 16 practically, and it'll be fine. But the general rule of thumb is not more than 2 to 4 inches bigger when you're potting up. Okay.